Anyway, hi.
Wait, sorry.
This is really casual. This is mainly unedited, Maddie, this video.
Okay, have you got £299 yet from YouTube?
What do you mean?
To buy Final Cut Pro?
Well, I have got that money, but I don't get that in that bulk.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, hi, we're doing a podcast. This is podcast TeaTalks thing again.
Number 2. Oh.
We have a guest today. This is Maddie. She has been on my channel before.
Yeah, you probably won't recognise
me.
me.
Not in a podcast. She's one of my friends from my old school. So, my secondary school, because I'm at college now.
What did we do? Try Not to Laugh.
We did Try Not to Laugh with Ella and Caitlin as well, so...
Yeah, been in a couple of vlogs, haven't
I?
I?
So, yeah, join Maddie today. We're... As you can kind of see, I don't really know what I'm going to title this yet.
Whoa, oh my god, that scared me.
We're going to be talking about... Wait, what did we title? Can you grab the notepad?
I've literally forgotten what we're doing.
Because I actually need the notepad now.
You said you weren't going to use the notepad.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes it's needed.
Just confirm my notes.
So, we're talking about YouTubers.
That's very broad, you can't just...
It is quite broad, but we're not actually talking about it in a broad
comment
sense.
in your video that said you need to talk about one thing.
I am talking about one topic. You read all my comments.
I literally saw it then.
Okay.
Well, that's talk.
So, yeah, this is one topic for that person who said that, but it sounds really broad, but it's actually not broad.
We're talking about why... I don't know how to put this so that it doesn't sound offensive.
Why... So we're talking about multiple different things around YouTube.
Yeah.
Mainly about, like, why certain YouTubers we think might be, like, their channels are dying. Without being rude to anybody.
Or not dying, maybe just
it's not like we're trying to be rude about it.
No, we're just trying to sort of get to the bottom of like why YouTube is like changing.
Because the YouTube community is changing.
Oh my god, like 100%, yeah.
And so we kind of want to talk about that and like different, like small YouTubers, big YouTubers,
yeah.
If you can call it like that, you know? Most of this, so...
Yes, you can!
No, I can't. This is mainly an unedited video.
Why?
Because it's a podcast, that's the whole point of it. Most of them, you don't edit at all.
Oh, no,
but I'm having to because I know I'll say something wrong, and so will you.
Oh yeah, like you have to edit out most of it.
I don't want to edit most of it out. I want to keep most of it in. I want it to be like a long podcast.
Okay.
Because that's the point.
I look like a bodybuilder, don't I?
You are a bodybuilder.
Look how broad my shoulders are. This is ridiculous.
We do have tea with us because it is TeaTalks, but
they're a bit hot at the minute.
Very hot. They've just been made. Our throat, just saying, filming this kind of video, your throat goes so dry. Pre-warning. Right, we're going to talk about some of the British YouTubers. Yeah. Now, right, I want to say before...
Disclaimer.
Before we get into this, I'm not actually trying to be mean.
No, we're not trying to be offensive.
I'm not trying to diss anyone's channel because I have enjoyed their content.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And to be honest, I still enjoy some of the content.
Just maybe one channel, maybe a couple. Probably just one.
Stop.
Okay.
But, so yeah, we're not trying to actually be mean or like say that we hate people's channels or hate what they're doing. It's just we just kind of talking about it and what we think's going on. So, right, there was a gang.
Yeah, there was a gang. Should we name them?
We can name like some of the mains. Like it was like
I've
Zoe.
Forgotten. Oh yeah, Zoe,
Alfie, Joe,
Tanya.
Casper.
Oh, okay, we're going in different orders here. Tanya, Jim, Louise, Joe, and Casper.
Marcus.
Naomi.
That was kind of the main gang.
Yeah.
And obviously some of them still aren't friends anymore, which kind of changed it.
Yeah, I mean that's a little bit sad, isn't it? Really, a bit awkward.
Yeah, but so there was like now I consider the British YouTubers to be Zoe, Alfie, like Joe, Casper, and Louise. I never really think of Tanya and Jim.
No, I mean I don't know. I think people are just
they never Tanya, Jim, and I feel like Marcus and kind of Louise. They didn't ever gain as much of a following. They didn't.
No, I know what you mean. I don't think that was because of who they were. I think that was just because...
I just think that they didn't get that luck where they got the flipping like 12 million.
Oh yeah, well now 11, but we don't talk about
that. Like the 12 million followers. They got a very big following still.
Oh yeah.
But now I don't really think of them as the British YouTubers because you don't hear about them as much.
No. But I think all of them, the ones that we do still consider now as the British YouTubers have, like,
basically,
they faded a little bit.
They faded on YouTube.
Yeah, not in life, just on YouTube, I think.
They're all still doing like really well for themselves.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like Zoe's got like what's her book called? I've got no idea.
She's got that book series. I can't remember what it's called. I read all of them.
I've read all of them.
And then she had her new book, Cordially Invited.
Cordially Invited.
Which I haven't read.
No, I haven't read that. We've got out some, what's it called?
She's got all her beauty products.
PB merch.
So everyone's got their merch, okay?
Yeah. And we've got...
and then there's... Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I'm going to have to cut quite a lot of this out because I don't know what I'm saying.
But what we're trying to say is that, and this is the view that I've always had, I think in the recent years, as more people have got popular over in America, I think that the people here have gone, they've sort of gone off the sort of YouTube
They've gone off the YouTube road, yeah.
Now that they've got this following and they've been able to do alternative things, and then when it comes down to it, they haven't then come back and...
They've not come back to their YouTube
reignited anything.
Like, apart from Alfie's kind of come back to his main channel.
Yeah, just about.
But he's just doing his podcast.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good idea for, like, changing it around. But I think he's kind of starting to try and change his content. Like, I feel like for a lot of those British YouTubers, they were the ones who started off YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And so like people like us, we grew up watching them on YouTube. Not like grew up, but from the age of like 11.
Yeah,
10, 11. So we watched them, but now we're teenagers. They're still doing the same videos that we watched when we were 11, and we don't really want to watch those kind of videos anymore.
I feel like we grew, but they sort of didn't, and then in the end they've just stopped.
They've kind of they moved a bit, and then they're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
In like the kind of videos that they film, but I kind of disagree at the same time with what I'm saying, because like Alfie is now changing his content on his main channel because he's doing a podcast, which
it took him about 2 years,
and it took him a while. But his podcast isn't like aimed towards the younger viewers because it's more it's like talking about sex basically.
Yeah. And I feel like that there's good and bad things to that, but I think the people that the younger viewers now weren't watching it when they were young, when we were watching it, because they would have been like 6.
Yeah, they were too. They didn't know about YouTube.
So they've grown up with Alfie how he is now, and not just him, like everyone.
Yeah, all of you. So for them, like they've got a different audience now. They don't have the same people who used to watch them.
Yeah. Which
I think is kind of not in a way where they're dying, but like they're kind of fading out because
they've lost quite a lot of their
main audience that they had, they've lost. And I think because of that, because we're older, we have more of a voice online. Like all the 10-year-olds, no offense to any 10-year-olds who watch my videos, thank you.
We love you.
We love you. But like they just aren't as big. Obviously, I mean, like the guy who on YouTube who got the most money was 7 or something, but you know.
What?
The most paid YouTuber last year was about 7 and he did toy reviews.
Oh my gosh, I remember him. He was like, yeah.
Anyway, so like, they don't have as much of a voice online to like share around videos and talk about it, whereas now there's like, you get the relatable videos. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like, the relatable videos, they are so relatable for teenagers, which is, they're the kind of videos that people are watching because they're different, they're chattier, they're just more like, natural.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I feel like we've gone off topic already, but but then like people like, so like Zoe, she did for a long time on her main channel all of her beauty videos.
Like makeup tutorials,
hauls,
oh yeah.
Very similar to the kind of stuff that I've done, which is what I'm trying to change at the moment because I'm bored, basically, of doing the same videos. And I'm guessing she got bored because she stopped.
Yeah, but I think... and this is what I was saying, the difference with what Zoe did was so the last video, what was it? We figured it out. It was 7 months ago she last uploaded a video.
She did a pizza tasting.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. There was no sign of her stopping, really. There was no word of it. And then it's like no one's really said anything about it. It's like it was...
She's just kind of stopped.
Yeah, and there's been no word of it, and it's now 7 months later.
Like, I don't think I don't watch her vlogs really anymore, so I can't say that she's mentioned it. But from what I know of, she hasn't actually said, like, I've stopped filming. No. Like, I've stopped using that channel.
And, like, we don't think that everyone, like, is owed a particularly huge explanation, but for people that have watched her videos like us from
for
like
such
for
a
such a long time, for someone to just stop, who has been quite influential to a lot of people,
Yeah, very influential.
and for them to just stop without a word, it's, I don't know, it
We
just
feel
seems
like
kind of...
They need to give an explanation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
if she doesn't want to upload videos anymore, then fair enough.
Just say, I'm not going to upload my videos
Yeah.
anymore. Like, thanks for...
Yeah.
Thanks
I mean,
for
she
that,
still
but
does her vlogs,
I'm
great,
just doing my
but...
vlogs now instead, yeah.
But a lot of people don't watch
A lot of people
them.
don't, yeah. How long have we got left? Okay, we've got 2 minutes. Like, so yeah, she's kind of just stopped. But then people like, I feel like Joe and Casper, they've always kind of had a very similar video style.
A very similar audience.
Very similar audience, very similar video style. Casper's kind of branched out.
He does a lot of things.
He does a lot of interviews and stuff.
With famous people. He
I think
travels
is really
a lot.
Cool. Like, I think he's got a cool angle on his videos.
And I remember Joe said in a video once that he wished that he'd done that more.
Yeah. I remember that.
Mm.
So like Casper's kind of, he's branched out. He's doing like more interesting stuff. Why have I got my hair bubble on my finger? And like, but Joe.
Ooh. Your tea's gonna get cold.
Oh yeah. What was I saying? And then there's like Joe. He's kind of stayed similar to his videos, but he's kind of made them a bit more
Red?
teenager.
Sorry, I just had to say that. I had to say it.
Red.
Bit
Diane.
bit more red.
Okay, Maddie. But like he's made.
So he doesn't vlog anymore. His girlfriend does, but
he's made them more like. I don't know how to.
I think he's moved a lot more with his audience.
Yeah, he's grown up with the audience in a way.
And he.
I guess he's a little bit younger than like Zoe and Alfie and stuff.
Well, yeah.
He's similar age. I don't know how old
No,
he
he's
is.
not. He's older than Alfie. He's
Is
like
he?
27.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. He's 28 this year.
Oh my god.
I think. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
We
yeah.
think. We're
So,
assuming.
Like, it's kind of a difference with like some of the British YouTubers are still talked about, whereas that sounds really mean. They
Yeah.
are still talked about. Like all of the YouTubers are still talked about and get publicity and stuff, but some for the wrong reasons. Like bringing out stuff just for the sake of it and.
Advent calendars.
But like, I feel like books and YouTubers is just like kind of become
And hoodies,
just
and
hoodies.
jumpers.
hoodies and jumpers just for like
The sake of
just
it.
for the sake of it because it's merch. Like I don't understand people who just bring out merch into. So it cut out.
We're gonna just repeat that point.
Just say the Strictly point.
Yeah. We think as well that it has helped a massive amount that he's been able to go on Strictly. Sorry.
That Joe's been able to go on
I've just said
Strictly.
it again. It's like.
We think it's helped that Joe's like
Joe's been able to go on
been
Strictly
on
because it's
Strictly.
opened up so many doors for him, and I don't want to sound like his therapist, but like I don't think he's changed that much.
People say he's changed, but I think it's in a good way. And he's like,
Yeah.
I think he's because I don't want to say this because he's got a girlfriend. We didn't say this before, but it should come in my head. I feel like he's become more. People want to watch it because it's brought a different aspect to his channel.
Yeah.
Like he never had a relationship before. It was like Joe was always single.
Yeah, and it was always like little immature, like
and it was
goofy Joe.
girlfriend does my ASOS shop. Did you watch that video?
Yeah.
And he was like, so I didn't actually have a girlfriend. I just did my own ASOS shop.
But now it's
But now
like,
he has a girlfriend, and it's like changed.
Yeah. Oh, what was my other point?
Oh, I can't remember. I kind of stole.
Oh no, I was going to say something. And I think as well, like I was looking with my friend the other day about I was looking through his vlogs and we were counting up how many of the vlogs since he started Strictly, how many have had Diane in the thumbnail and how many more views they've got each time.
I know, it's ridiculous.
And he went from like 200k to like 1.1 mil in the space of a video because her face was in the thumbnail.
Yeah,
and
people
I feel like
love them together.
Yeah, and obviously that's not him getting more views on the back. Like he obviously did not get into a relationship because it would bring him views.
Yeah,
but I think it has helped.
It has helped to bring him out of that like.
Yeah.
The what's the word? Like the rut. What's the rut? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Like the rut. Anyway, it's kind of brought him out of like the shadows.
I think as well, I think it will die down just like Zoe and Alfie. This was
when they came out. It was like...
The difference was they came out like well early on, like when their
really
channels weren't that big. So people that have watched them they've always been together.
It's just Zoe and Alfie now. Like,
it's just Zoe and Alfie.
They know them as Zoe and Alfie.
And that will be the same for Joe and Dan in what, like 2 years time?
Yeah.
3 years time, if they're still together by then.
Why is that so red?
Have you been holding your cup, honey?
No, it hurts. Anyway, what was another point that we wanted to talk about?
Oh.
Upcoming YouTubers.
Oh yeah, right, you start.
Oh wait, I needed more tea. I don't really know what to say about this, but when me and Maddie were like talking about this earlier, writing some notes down, and we wanted to talk about not necessarily like upcoming YouTubers, but like smaller YouTubers as well.
Smaller,
like
yeah, or not, again, not necessarily smaller, but less talked about. Less
talked about.
Less
like
sort of like publicitised, is that a word?
Like not as many people know about them, but then they have like a good strong following.
We've got 2 examples, you go first.
So someone that I've been watching a lot, like probably in the last year, I really love her channel. I talked about her in the last podcast. Hayley Pham. She's a very relatable YouTuber. I think she's like 19 or something. So she's just moved out of home, lives in her apartment.
Jesus.
But like since she kind of did that kind of video and has kind of changed it now, and she's like traveling and she's getting the opportunities to do like all these cool things. And I think she's got like 1.8 million, did we say?
Mm.
And I just think she's like a normal person, and she's not like over dramatising things.
I think
she's,
that is
like,
a really
being
important point.
Good person
About how normal they are, because now a lot of people, especially people that have followed the British YouTubers since they've been little, they've detached themselves a little bit because they've become so...
They're not humans
they're not
anymore.
Yeah, they've become very rich, very famous, and that's not their fault.
No.
But I think a lot of people therefore now can't relate to them as they sort of like they go into their offices and they like do all their meetings with their managers and stuff. It feels like they're more business people now
all
rather
their jobs
than
now. Yeah. Like, and I mean, these other YouTubers that I like, Hayley, I'm talking about, her job now is YouTube. But the difference is that it doesn't feel like, and I feel like because the other YouTubers we've known for so long, now if someone says, oh, you know Zoe and Alfie, everyone immediately knows who you're talking about, and so it just kind of, it doesn't become like their YouTube channel. It becomes
they're just a public couple. They're just I feel like a lot of people have become disconnected from them because
of that reason. Yeah, I get you. So I feel like the like less talked about YouTubers are just really like, they're just fresh.
I think they're
new,
really important.
They're good to watch because they are more normal, and especially like, wait, who's your person again? I don't know.
Bella. She's called Bella Fury. She's Australian. Anyone who's watching this that knows me will know that I'm obsessed with her. She's got 1.8 million as well. And again, she's most of her, I'll say most of her following, to be honest, I don't know this, but I would suspect, because a lot of people here, or most people here don't know who she is. She's Australian, so most of her following will probably be from Australia. But again, she's opened up sort of quite a lot, not loads, but quite a lot about her struggles with like anxiety and stuff, like what you get with a lot of YouTubers. They a lot talk about it. And she, you know, didn't upload for, what was it, a period of like 2-3 months, and then she came back with this like video. It was only like a 10-minute video, but it just explained everything about sort of why she hadn't been filming and what's going to motivate her to keep filming. And I think that is really important for people watching, to sort of not just
not so that, like, because obviously you don't want to really like say too much. Sometimes like it's a private thing, like mental health.
I mean, if you want to, then fine.
Talk about it. Like, people find it interesting. But if it's something that you don't want to talk about, even if it's just saying sorry I didn't upload, I think it's an important thing, and just addressing like that this is the reason I didn't upload, because of mental health.
And I think that's also what makes them more normal. Yeah,
because it's like, I don't like Zoe. I think she did a really, like, talking about her anxiety was a really good thing, and it really helped a lot of people. But then I thought that light was falling then, and that really scared me. Oh no, I forgot what I was gonna say. Wait, what were you saying?
I was saying about how it makes them more normal if they talk about.
Yeah, like, I think that was one thing that I think Zoe did really well, because she did talk about it and she made it become a normal thing, so people who were like suffering with it could understand that they're normal. Yeah, nothing is wrong with it.
However,
but I feel like a lot of people have used mental health in a way not in a good way.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
I don't really know how to say it, but I feel like it's become normal.
I think this has stemmed as well from Zoe.
Yeah, I think it has.
That's not her fault at all.
I don't think so. Zoe's done nothing wrong.
She was I think she was one of the first people, if not the first big YouTuber to talk about mental health and to talk about anxiety. And I think now a lot of people have then used that as a way of not gaining publicity, but
being relatable.
Being relatable, yeah, because it sparked a lot of interest.
Yeah, and I feel like people have used it in a way to try and get views, to be relatable, because they're like saying, "Oh, I'm really anxious."
Like, I'm the same as you. Like, I'm normal like you. When in actual fact, it can almost backfire on them.
Especially as a lot of people don't like. Obviously, there are thousands of people who will have it, and they generally do have it, and they're not using it as an excuse.
Yeah.
But some people do, and I think some people are just kind of self-diagnosing. In a way. And
using it as more of a publicity stunt rather than an actual emotional, raw sort of thing. But I
totally agree.
And I'm not saying that that's what Bella's like, because what Bella did was I think she motivated herself to make sure she uploaded by putting it out there. I don't think it was because she didn't need the publicity. Like, she hasn't gained anything from doing that apart from a hell of a lot of respect.
Yeah.
And she didn't need to gain any more followers or gain any more subscribers, but what she did do, I think, was motivate herself to upload, because she knows that everyone else knows about it now.
Yeah, and that's kind of similar, like, with Hayley. She has said in lots of her videos, like, "Oh, I feel really anxious," and then she's like, "I don't want to self-diagnose, say that I actually have anxiety, but that's kind of what I felt. I think I might have had a panic attack." So she's generalised it in a way of
maybe
she thinks that she might have it, and that she wants to see a therapist and things like that. So she's kind of giving that positive outlook on mental health again, and like I think that's a really good thing that these YouTubers have been doing.
Yeah.
So
we've gone on a mental health tangent now.
We weren't going to talk about that, oh gosh.
Oh yeah,
okay, so let's talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, we weren't actually planning on talking about this, but we're going to now. Jake Paul, Logan Paul.
Yeah, this is what I touched on it like a tiny bit at the start, how we think that the whole sort of YouTube community has shifted
away from the British
and more to this whole, it stemmed in America. It's nothing against Americans again, but it stemmed in America, this whole Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Team 10 fight thing with like KSI.
There was all the fight, there was all of the dodgy videos that they uploaded.
Yeah, all of the diss tracks that have now merged into the UK.
Really get,
and it puts a really negative outlook on YouTube that just was not there like 4 or 5 years.
Are we in focus? I actually
hope so.
Look how pale I am. Okay.
It puts a negative outlook on YouTube that wasn't there before.
Yeah, like I can't actually remember the difference between the brothers, so I'm sorry if I say
Logan's the one that did the suicide thing, and Jake's the one that's did the Team 10 thing.
So Jake was the one.
Jake's the original one that everyone was like, oh, he's really fit, and he did the Team 10 like.
So Jake's the one that Shawn Mendes.
Shawn Mendes.
Do you know what? Whenever I try and say Shane Dawson, I always say Shawn Mendes. Always, it's just a thing. So Shane Dawson was the one who did the video on Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Okay.
No, I think so.
We might have got this the wrong way around.
Logan's the one that did the suicide thing, the really bad video about the in the forest.
Every day, yeah, I think so.
You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that, like, yeah, it just puts such a negative outlook on YouTube.
When the two brothers have done those videos, and I know there are other people who do bad videos, that just for the wrong reasons, but those ones, for some reason, they gain the publicity.
Yeah.
And I think that really put a bad outlook on YouTube, like, whether it was because it was on the news, like, it was a public thing, like, people who didn't watch YouTube normally had heard about it, and so I feel like for people doing YouTube, it kind of became a bit more, for like a short period of time, it was, there was like a weird vibe talking about YouTube. Yeah,
because it was like, it wasn't something that people aspired to sort of be like anymore, and it was almost like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Like, people didn't want to be like, oh, I watch YouTube, because if someone said the word YouTube, you just think
you just automatically thought
like
of
diss tracks and like
the dodgy
stuff. And I think that also did like completely change the sort of dynamic of the British YouTubers, because they didn't have this like little community anymore, because it had been taken over by this like
it really
stupid thing. Maybe that's affected them now then, and as to why. I mean, I'm not saying like Zoe's not uploading because Jake Paul and Logan Paul are.
That's like over now, but
but
is there a cat in here still?
Yeah.
Oh, bless him.
He's so cute.
I forgot what I was gonna say, Maddie. I'm gonna have to cut these pauses out.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna talk about viewers watching.
Okay. Yep.
I feel like before there was the whole Jake Paul, Logan Paul fiasco. Oh, my nose just got bunged up for a second. I felt like YouTube was quite a good place for kids. Is that a thing to say? Like, there's so many videos available, and then those kind of things start going around YouTube, then there's all the reactions to it, and then all of a sudden, I feel like so many of, like, the younger people watching, like those, like, 10, 11-year-olds we were talking about earlier, they're gonna start watching those videos, and then it's just kind of a more bad influence. Like, not saying, like, if you're a YouTuber, you have to always be a good influence, because you can't be perfect. Everyone does stuff that's not perfect. Like, you say stuff, you do stuff, and some videos are aimed towards older people. Like, it's like a Netflix show might be a 12, you know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And I feel like once those videos came out, it was, like, more... Like, all of the young people I know, which isn't actually that many, but my next door neighbours, they like had watched like Logan Paul and Jake Paul, and like I heard so many other YouTubers saying like they were really like sad because their younger siblings were like saying, oh my god, I love Jake Paul, I love Logan Paul, because of these videos, because they think it's funny, but they don't actually understand. Oh my god, my nose has gone bunged up. But they don't really understand like how. God. When I talk a lot, my nose goes bunged up in these videos. Oh my gosh. I've lost track of thought.
I've got a point.
Okay, go.
I also think as well,
you can just talk,
it's...
You know.
Huh?
You can just talk whenever, you know.
I think it's also the, like, society itself in terms of when Zoe and Alfie and all the British YouTubers started out, what, like, how many years ago? Like, 7?
More than that.
8,
it was like
9, 10.
9 years ago, yeah.
The people that the reason they got such a big following was because people, young people and also like people that were older, enjoyed that sort of content.
Yeah.
But if you got someone creating videos like they did now, people wouldn't be as interested as watching stuff like diss tracks and like.
Because of like the trends going around and stuff.
Yeah. And I feel like at the time, Zoe and Alfie, they started off at a really good time.
They were at the prime time.
Oh yeah, 100%. And they've done well off that. But now I think they've hit a bit of a standstill because as the trends have changed, their videos have sort of gone a little bit backwards. And then you've got people like Jake Paul and Logan Paul who have created all this stuff that
is to suit people.
Yeah.
Who are like following the trends at the moment.
Yeah, and whether you like that or whether you don't, that's your opinion. But
and then if you don't like it, because it's part of like kind of the trends, it gets talked about because people then who don't like it, like people our age, talk about it all the time, because once you get older, you have very strong opinions that you want to talk about. So like it ends up being talked about more and more, which kind of gives it more publicity, which is what those British YouTubers, I guess. I don't want to like just say the British YouTubers because it's not all of them, and also it's not just them at the same time. Yeah. But that's kind of what has like stopped them being talked about as much, apart from in this kind of situation. Yeah. So yeah. I will put Hayley and Bella's links in the description because they're both 2 channels that we really like,
and we think that you should go and check them out.
Yeah, we think you would enjoy their content. Yeah. They're just interesting.
Yeah, and I think they represent the authenticity that is now lacking in a lot of aspects of YouTube.
Yes, I agree.
I've never said something so sophisticated in my life.
Add that in an essay. We were just checking to see if we had any more notes that we'd written down, but I feel like we've kind of
covered it all, really.
Covered it all. I have actually watched quite a lot of videos talking about the decline in the British YouTubers following. I just find I find it really interesting to see what people think, and like there's this one channel, I can't remember what it is, but I saw it, and he basically looks at a channel and then he kind of figures out... Who was it? Or was it Shane Dawson?
What did he do?
He like looked at the channel, and then he like looked at like the decrease, or like the kind of, what's it called? Like the analytics, I guess. The demographics, I think that's the word. The demographics of like all of the views, the likes, subscribers, everything. And then he like kind of figured out, yeah, it was Shane Dawson. And basically he tried to find out why their channels were dying. I think he literally called that, what's her name? The girl, Bunny. She's called Bunny. Like, she talks Bunny, and she has like dolls in her background. And she's like got.
I don't know who that
Anyway, he did it with her, and he was like looking at why he thinks her channel's gone down, and then he gave like tips, and then from after she filmed a video like using these tips, her views like increased a lot.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's interesting because these YouTubers can change, like they can grow their views again.
Yeah, and I feel like that's Joe's perfect example of that, and I think that is a lot down to his recent circumstances rather than his content, his channel
changing.
Although
it is changing in a way.
It is changing, but not because of
not
him
because focusing on changing the content. It's just
happened.
naturally changed.
Yeah.
So I feel like the YouTubers can like change it around, and I've seen so many videos of people talking about it, and I find it so interesting because like they used to be so huge, but they're just not talked about as much. And to be honest, compared to a lot of other YouTubers, they aren't actually that big.
No.
Anymore. Like so many YouTubers have more like viewers.
Yeah, like Zoe used to be like the biggest YouTuber in the world.
Apart from PewDiePie.
But
he's still like probably got the most subscribers.
Yeah, I think he probably has.
That's 100-something million.
Yeah.
But like, I just find, so if you find this kind of videos interesting.
Do you watch his family?
Yeah, no.
Oh. Do you know who they are though?
I've heard of them.
Like Elle and Catherine and Austin.
No. Do you watch Relatable?
I used to. I stopped when Caleb died.
It was so sad.
I know. Oh my god, that scares me.
Yeah, sure.
What is this?
Don't know.
Oh.
Anyway, I think we'll just end this podcast episode here. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I wanted a guest. I said I wanted a guest in the podcast, so
you've got one.
We've had a guest.
And I'll be happy to return anytime.
You won't be returning again. Yeah. I'll see you all soon with another video or another podcast or another vlog. Vlog is still a video, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you all soon.
Bye.
Okay, right. Time to pose for a thumbnail.